If this is the Times Cafeteria and you are in fact Anthony, A.O., Tony, Scott, then this must be the sweet spot. Can I tell you a story about my weekend?
Oh, please.
Okay, so we went to the drive-in.
All right.
And the drive-in is defined by what movie starts. And in this instance, there was, to the right, Despicable Me.
Okay. Despicable Me 2.
Despicable Me 2. And to the left was Lone Ranger. We first accidentally went to the Despicable Me 2 side, jammed wall to wall, went over to Lone Ranger.
You had the place to yourself.
Bunch of crusty old guys
sideways.
like we could pick anywhere we wanted. Why did that thing bomb so hard?
Well, there's the question, because you could go in and Monday morning quarterback, as many have, and say, well, it's the thing it was based on is something that nobody under about the age of 70 has ever even heard of. It had a little bit of a cloud around it, as sometimes happens with movies when reports come out that they went over budget or they were troubled production.
It's called Halo of Flies. How much did it cost?
They said $215, $230 production. Then there's
$350 million,
advertising on top of that.
1/3 of $1 billion.
Pretty much.
To push it out into the world.
To push it out into the world.
I got an idea about that.
Yeah.
Too much.
And there's an interesting comparison of World War Z, which had this similar halo of flies.
Exception
right?
that disputes the role.
Right. Troubled production, many years in the making. Haven't we had enough zombies already?
There's the movie business, but there's the blockbuster business. And increasingly, it's its own kingdom, right? And it has its own rules.
It is very much a first weekend
If we
business.
think back, maybe, can we come up with it a week or two ago? I think there was a blockbuster that bombed.
There was White House Down.
Yes.
With Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx. Olympus Has Fallen, which was Gerard Butler instead of Channing Tatum. Will Smith's star vehicle with his son, After Earth, that kind of fizzled.
You know what I like? The semi-blockbuster.
The Heat.
The Heat.
Okay, I look like I've been attacked.
It's much cheaper to make a comedy, but the difference is comedies don't play very well overseas because there are cultural sensibilities that are different, and also they're much more verbal and much less about kind of the international language of stuff blowing up.
Tony, I wonder if you might take us for a walk down stinky Bomberama. See, we love it.
No, we love it, and the thing is that it's part of the cycle. Like
you just
these
see
things,
the studio executive just sitting in the corner.
And
no!
what they're trying to do is they're trying to engineer a world where it never happens, and it always happens, and it's part of actually the history of movies, and it's part of what we love about movies. Is that some of them will come down the pike with the biggest stars and the biggest budgets and the biggest hype, and then just flatline. So you had there are some legendary ones that brought down whole studios. Cleopatra, with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, and that was the collapse of the whole studio system. More recently, we had John Carter, a big action science fiction sword and sandals something or another. It was again based on something that most kids these days had never even heard of.
Somewhere in their lower lizard brain that. Yes, we're going to muscle this through. Yes, but deep down they know.
I always wonder about that. Do they know that it's, or are they just so kind of in their bubble of backslapping that they watch it, they watch the final cut and they're like, this is great, this is great, this is going to just be. Did they think that about the Green Lantern? Did they think that about Speed Racer?
About Ishtar?
About 1492. But here we go, Ishtar.
Oh my God.
Much maligned. A really good movie.
The science of blockbusters? Not much of a science at all. There's still movies.
Yes, there's still movies, and the great wisdom of the screenwriter William Goldman still holds true. When it comes to Hollywood, nobody knows anything.
Well said, Kemosabe.
Maybe least of all us.